It be update 5 of the H.M.S. Victory.
Yeah, what Pirate Dave just said. Welcome to update 5. The ship itself now is glued down to the base, so it's nice and sturdy and I can work with it now. We've also started our rigging. As you can see, we've just done the front section at the moment. In fact, what I'll do is I'll probably have to take the camera off the tripod, guys, otherwise you're not going to get a good view of it, so just bear with me. So yeah, I think you saw that on the last one, didn't we? We just finished that one. Yeah. So you haven't missed that much. Having said that, it's taken all morning just to do this front section. We've got 2 lines there. I don't know what that part's called, sorry, but there's yeah, 2 threads joining in through, and it goes right through to the other side. We're doing our little knots here, so these are connected. If I get my finger out of the way, so that just basically runs up and down, tied off to them. Oh, this little bit here was a pain in the backside. I think I broke it about 3 times while I was trying to do this. So I've wrapped that one around, that one goes straight up and then straight up to the top of the mast. Same with this one here, which isn't quite as taut as I'd like, but yeah, I basically had to just glue it there because this part was just going to snap under the strain. So that goes up to the crow's nest up there and back down again to that part there, and that's basically what we've done. Rat lines are all put into position, they're all done. We're getting close to the end. It's slowly making sense to me, is all the rigging. There are a few little areas in here that go down here and then disappear somewhere. I imagine it gets tied off just by the lifeboats there. Got a little plaque painted in black, so I need to do the gold on that. And I think that's about it, guys. It's just more and more rigging. I'm going to do rigging coming down here to there, and then from this centre mast all the way to this section, and zigzagging all over the place. Oh man, but it looks pretty nice at the moment. I'm liking the way it's coming out. The lines look nice and tight. It's just when you're getting close, I don't know if the camera will focus on it or not, but you do get little strands here and there, like there's one just there, yeah, there. And getting strands like that, so I'm going to dilute some Mod Podge, I think, and just go over the lines with it to try and get rid of that issue, because it's not very nice looking. And that'll be it. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to try and do these lines here. I think actually the centre ones will probably be easier to do, and then do the side sections, because it's going to be tricky to try and get me tweezers in there and try and tie off all the rigging. It's an absolute nightmare at the moment. But that's taken all morning just to do the front, so I imagine I'm going to be doing this well into tomorrow, and maybe the day after that. But hopefully by then. Oh, while I do remember, I brewed up some coffee and I've got my sails done, and they're looking less peach now, more like what I wanted. Put it in the light, although it's going to wash out I think, but yeah, they're looking a lot better now, nice and mucky, used. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. I still probably will go with some brown pastel and highlight some of these lines as well. But yeah, we're good to go, guys. Now I think I'm going to go off, have a coffee and tackle these guys in the centre, so we'll be right back. And we're back, guys. It is now Friday. I do apologise for the kinky leather in the background, but it's the only sheet I had available to me. Which isn't, well, you can make out the lines. So we did the forward rigging yesterday. We've managed to do all the centre rigging now. on the ship, if you notice, this rigging here is quite slack. The reason being is this mast is slightly wonky. So when I do the side rigging, what I'm going to be doing is gently putting a bit of tension on that. So when I put tension on it, they're all going to straighten out nicely. And there's one right at the top as well. So it's got to be nice and straight, basically. Obviously, if I'd have done the tension on it now, when I did pull the mast back, obviously it'd be under too much tension, and you can already tell that this piece here, I've snapped it already, and I've had to glue it back, so it's very fragile and weak. But yeah, all the centre rigging is being done. I'm gonna have a coffee break now. And then I'm going to tackle putting all the side rigging down for the mast supports. I've also got our sails on the bottom there. They've stained up nicely. I'm going to go over them in some brown pastel and just highlight them a bit. Accidentally snapped this yard arm, glued it back and realised that it hasn't gone on straight. But I kind of like it, so I might leave it instead of breaking it off and trying again. Because they're all winched up and tied up with ropes anyway, so they're not going to be dead straight. And once the sail's on that, it might add a bit of character to it. If not, then I will snap it off and do it again. But yeah, coffee break first, then I'm going to be tackling all the side rigging. Once that's done, I'm going to move on to a different colour. Because I think after that we'll be tackling these guys, which is a bit daunting because I'm going to have to hand stitch these onto the yard arms, and these yard arms are, well, a bit flimsy. So we'll be doing that. Then what? I think then we've got a whole load of other rigging to do, which I'll do in a different colour, which is basically all the rigging that attaches to the yard arms, and also down at the bottom, the dead eyes. Yeah, new word, dead eyes, which would be these tiny little parts that are attached to the ropes, which you can't make out because they're microscopic. But yeah, we'll be doing that as well. So hopefully this will be the last update on this. Still got a ways to go, but I've managed, in a few hours I've managed to get all this finished, so it's just the side sections to do, and then we'll be right back, guys. Hang tight. Okay, we're back. So we've rigged up the bow now. The forward mast has been rigged up to where it needs to be on both sides. We're going to move on to the centre one in a minute, but they're nice and tight. Originally what happened was, I think one of these strands, I don't know which one, but it goes to the top anyway, up here, and it was nice and tight, got it all fastened in, and then saw the top had actually bent. So it was a bit too tight, so I had to take that one off and then just do a separate one just for that. But the rigging lines for the front are done, they're finished, so we can move on to the middle section next, which I think has got three running either side, and then the aft one only has two, and they all run through the crow's nest here, so I better pull that back and just take up that and just tighten that up, because there's one right at the top as well, which should just do that one. So we'll be back, guys, as soon as I've got this middle one sorted out. And we're back. Yeah, the first stage rigging is complete. So we've got all our lines set up now on the ship. Just try and give you a decent shot of that. I could do with like a dolly in here to mount the camera and move it around. Pleased to say that it did work, although it is looking a bit bent at the top. But yeah, we've tightened up that rigging there. I've got a feeling this is how the piece glued in here. but to me the angle looks a bit too steep, so I might have to reset that. Because I was going over the instructions the other day and I thought, great, rigging, we've done that. Then I came across this guy here. Oh dear. Yeah, so this is the first stage, rigging, and then we've got round 2. That's fantastic. Really looking forward to that one. So yeah, there's a ton of rigging to do here. Basically all the yard arms need rigging in it, and then I don't know how this is going to work, but we need to run our rigging down the what's-it-called thingy bob, we'll call it a thingy bob, I've forgotten, mast. And then we're going to attach all our cables to these fellas down here, which it's ridiculous. I don't know how. Well, obviously I'm going to have to use tweezers. How am I going to get in behind these rat lines to this section in here? Because that's where they'll have to be tied to. Not only are they tied, but you've got to do like a figure of 8 around it to tie them off. Not sure if I'm doing that. I'll certainly do this because it'll just add more detail to it, and plus it would look nice to rig up the bow, so they'll be getting rigged. The yard arms, I mean, that might even straighten this one out a bit by putting some rigging on it, but they are delicate pieces, so I don't want it to be moving about much. So yeah, we've got that to do. Now I can have a break from rigging because I need to sort my sails out and do some pastel work on them. Once I've done that, then I've got to stitch them onto the yard arms, and then after that, what else do I need to do after that? Yeah, once they're stitched on, rig all these guys up here, and it looks like there's going to be quite a lot. Yeah, so we rig off this yard arm here, goes towards the back, so that'll be this section getting rigged up to this section here. But you know what, I'm gonna do it because it's gonna add a lot more detail to it. I mean, it looks good now, but I'm gonna use a different coloured thread for all that rigging, just so it doesn't look like spaghetti. But yeah, I quite like it. It's added quite a lot when you follow all the rigging lines. I quite like the way it's come out. But yeah, I had a few issues with this guy because I did it a little too tight and it was like bent over this way. So I had to let that one go and do another one. It's still a bit bent, but I can live with that. I think it'll be alright. It's keeping that nice and taut. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. I don't know where to cut this update off and just get on with the sails. I don't know. If I'm back, I'm back. If not, we'll probably do one last update when it's all completed. So I'll catch you in a bit, guys.
Hello, me hearties. Join me in update 6, where we'll be tackling the sails and also the dreaded rigging.